Hello, I'm Toshio Okada. Tonight, Okada's conclusion. We unravel the doom of a world ruled by GAFA. Conclusion. GAFA does not rule us by force, making us think we use them by our own will. They are taking over the earth. Google, Amazon, Facebook, Apple, the Four Horsemen. Okada Decodes Scott Galloway's global bestseller. AI steals jobs, Amazon kills Main Street shops. Facebook steals our votes. A 1967 manga artist's prophecy is now reality. Companies over governments. Individuals over nations. What we are losing in exchange for convenience. Okada will explain in 41 minutes. In detail.
GAFA stands for Google, Amazon, Facebook. Apple, these four giants. And the global companies following them are now trying to take over the earth. Not by forcing reluctant users to use them. Not even by trying to sell extremely simply, smartly. While making us think we use them because we want to. They are actually beginning to dominate us. Did you know? It's a book like that. Or rather than beginning to. The rule is already complete, that's the story. GAFA makes our lives comfortable. Just endlessly convenient. On top of that, fun. Amazing. It makes us comfortable, convenient, and fun. But it does not enrich us, nor make us happy. It makes us stop thinking deeply. We can buy whatever we suddenly want at the lowest price. That kind of thing. Pleasure is provided, but the deeper happiness behind it is something they are not aware of. Suddenly, but every Monday I broadcast Toshio Okada's second channel at 7 p.m. Are you aware? What you are watching now is the main channel. But for about half a year I've also been uploading original videos to a second channel. Basically, it answers comments from Twitter and YouTube. That kind of casual video. If you haven't subscribed yet, please consider it. On the second channel, there was this comment I answered. AI development causes many people to lose their jobs. But in other words, it frees us from meaningless work. That kind of thing. There was such a comment. In response, I said on the second channel that good and evil. Ultimately, after about 100 years. 100 years later, only historians can judge. Good and evil are like that, that's how I talked about it. Today's talk is also somewhat like that. Good evening, this is Toshio Okada Zimi. Today's video introduces a book called GAFA, The Four Horsemen Who Reshaped the World. GAFA stands for Google, Amazon, Facebook. Well, currently Meta. And Apple, the initials of these four companies. These four giant global IT companies, and similar IT global companies following them, are trying to dominate the world. Or rather, haven't they already dominated it? It's a slightly scary book talking about that. There have always been giant companies. For example, IBM was one, General Motors was one. Monsanto was one. Various giant international companies have existed. But the giants now called GAFA are different from those before. What's different, to put it simply? They have changed our daily lives. It's no longer a story of this brand is becoming popular. It's a story that the way we live our daily lives is being decided by GAFA. It's that level of impact. Today's video first explains briefly what GAFA is. Then in Chapter 2 explains Amazon. Chapter 3 Apple, Chapter 4 Facebook, Chapter 5 Google. 5 chapters in total. Then the conclusion at the end. Roughly, that's the structure. Today's video is rather long. Sorry, but please be patient with me. First, what GAFA is. As I said earlier, the four horsemen of the apocalypse. What does this mean? Yes, this is interesting. Then, Talkuan. Yes, Talkuan. Heave ho. What is this monster? Indeed. The four horsemen, they appear in the book of Revelation. Four horsemen. Out of the seven seals Christ opens. They appear when the first four seals are broken. Demons that rule the world. They are given authority to kill humans on earth. This is the first horseman, the one with the bow. The first seal is broken and he appears. Victory upon victory, meaning conquest as the goal. The second horseman, this red one, riding a red horse, appears when the second seal is broken, carrying a great sword, with the role of causing humans on earth to wage war, meaning to make us wage war against each other. The third horseman rides a black horse. This one. He carries scales to limit food supply, bringing famine to earth. And the fourth horseman is white, bringing pestilence, death. These four are the four horsemen called the four horsemen of the apocalypse. Now Galloway, the author of this book, says, GAFA is exactly the four horsemen of modern times. Conquest, war, famine, pestilence. They are bringing all of these. Such a daring metaphor. But when you read the book, you really feel it. Yes, that's right. Now, let's get into Chapter 1. Chapter 1, what GAFA is. First, the four horsemen story I mentioned earlier. Then Chapter 2 onwards is about each company. Now, the world's GDP, the global economy. About $80 trillion total. GAFA's combined market cap is about $3.5 trillion. That's about 4% of the world's GDP. But the more frightening reality is, the future market value, the so-called expected market cap, is over $4 trillion combined for these four companies. The total global stock market value is about $80 trillion, of which 5% is held by these four companies. Such giants exist. And what's more, Amazon Prime, the percentage of American households subscribed, is over half. That's how dominant these giants have become in our lives. Now, this graph in the book. I want to show you something interesting. Here, this is a comparison of the speed of accumulation. How fast did it take to reach the same market cap of $1 trillion? GE took about 100 years. That's about a century. IBM about 80 years, Microsoft 30 years, Google 17 years, Apple 38 years because of the slump period, Amazon about 25 years, Facebook reached 600 billion in just 12 years. Recently, the speed at which these companies achieve incredible scale has become absurd. Just look at this graph and you can tell. By the way, here's a famous discussion. Galloway also points this out. The wealth has changed. In the 20th century, having a Cadillac was the symbol. But now in the 21st century, having an iPhone is the symbol. Big difference. And another big change is that these companies do not pay much tax. Compared to traditional companies, they pay extremely low taxes. This is also a problem. Compared to companies like Walmart, GAFA pays much less tax. Apple in particular has been notorious for routing through subsidiaries in Ireland and other places to minimize taxes. Now, recently, the US administration has been criticizing this. But it's not easy to fix, because the law allows it. Now, what's interesting in this book is the comparison of the wealth of GAFA founders. Bezos, Zuckerberg, Larry Page, Sergey Brin, all becoming the richest in the world. And not even because of dividends, most of their wealth comes from stock. From stock holdings. And the founder of Amazon, Bezos, recently, his net worth was over $100 billion. About 11 trillion yen at that time. But what's interesting, they pay almost no income tax. Because they don't take income, they take capital gains. Capital gains are taxed less. And their lifestyles are extreme. Bezos, for example, used to live in an unbelievably small house. But now he has incredible luxury yacht, private jet. These four GAFA companies, what they have in common? They study the customer extremely well. They know what the customer wants better than the customer knows. They use big data. They use AI. They predict everything. That's why they're so powerful. Now, an interesting story from the book. Galloway points out that the Catholic Church was the original GAFA. Religion gives meaning to life, tells you what to think. And in modern times, GAFA does the same thing, but more sneakily. Because we don't realize we're being controlled. Now let's go into Chapter 2, Amazon. Chapter 2. The giant closest to $1 trillion. What does $1 trillion mean? I'll explain slowly. In the center is the percentage of American households subscribed to Amazon Prime. It's already over half. And growing. Now, Amazon's history. Started as an online bookstore, then expanded to everything. From books to music, then everything. Now they sell everything. And they aim to be the everything store. If you want anything, search Amazon, they have it. Cheapest, fastest delivery, with reviews. What customer wouldn't choose Amazon? And once you choose Amazon, you stop going to other stores. Stores die. That's the cycle. Now, an interesting Amazon story. In old days, the local bicycle shop owner knew the customer's needs, knew which bike for which person, recommended accordingly. That was the value of the local shop. The shopkeeper had professional knowledge. Most importantly, the high-end inventory was great. City shops had products for the wealthy too, but mostly products for ordinary people. High-end items, or how to use high-end items. For example, how to use caviar in cooking, or how to use truffles. Even if the ingredients existed, the shopkeeper would have them in stock and could explain how to use them. The professional knowledge of the shopkeeper was the value of the local shop. But Amazon, they have everything. All products, with reviews, with explanations. AI recommendation tells you what fits you, better than any local shopkeeper. And that's how Amazon kills the local shop. Then comes the shopping mall era. The shopping mall replaces the local shopping street. Family-owned shops disappear. Then Amazon kills the shopping mall. Now we have abandoned shopping malls in America. These are called dead malls. Amazon delivers everything to your door. Why go to a mall? And then comes COVID. Everyone shifts to online. Amazon's growth accelerates. Now, Bezos' vision was bigger. He wanted to deliver in 1 hour. That's why drone delivery is being developed. And once delivered in 1 hour, no other store can compete. Now, Amazon also acquired Whole Foods, high-end grocery chain. Now Amazon is in groceries too. Then Amazon Fresh food delivery. Then Amazon Go, physical stores without cashiers. Pure tech-driven retail. And Amazon Prime Video, streaming. Amazon Music streaming. Audible, audiobooks. Twitch, gaming, streaming. Amazon is everywhere. And the more they expand, the more powerful they become. Now, Galloway's prediction Amazon will reach $1 trillion first. Maybe already. And after that, Amazon will continue to grow. Until, what's the end? Galloway says Amazon will eventually challenge governments because they have so much money and so much data and so much power. What can governments do? Now, a related interesting story. In the 19th century, there were monopolies in America. Standard Oil, AT&T, Carnegie Steel. These were broken up by antitrust laws, the Sherman Act and so on. But today's GAFA, the same situation. Should they be broken up? Many people say yes. But Galloway says it's complicated because GAFA is providing real value to consumers. Cheap, fast, convenient. If you break up GAFA, will consumers benefit? Maybe not. So the dilemma remains. Now, let's move on. Amazon's strategy is to be the cheapest of all. Same product, cheapest at Amazon. How? Amazon doesn't take profit. They reinvest. Amazon's profit margin is razor thin, but their market cap is huge because investors believe they'll dominate eventually. Now Amazon is the friend of the week. The story is Amazon helps individuals and small businesses by giving them the platform to sell. Anyone can sell on Amazon. Amazon takes a fee, but provides massive reach. But Galloway points out, Amazon also competes with sellers. If your product is selling well on Amazon, Amazon will make their own version cheaper and put yours out of business. That's the dark side. Now, the truth about Amazon's labor practices. Amazon warehouses are notorious. Workers walk 15 miles a day, pee in bottles to save time, get fired by algorithm, all to deliver your package in one day. Is that a happy society? Galloway questions this. Now, Bezos' poverty strategy. The way Bezos exploits poverty is to scatter unemployment. Automation in warehouses. Replace workers with robots. Workers lose jobs. Bezos gets richer. Government has to provide unemployment benefits. Taxes increase on remaining workers. But Amazon pays minimal taxes. So the burden falls on the middle class. And the rich get richer. Capitalism's worst nightmare in real time. Now, Chapter 3, Apple. Apple, the company that gives meaning to your life. Apple is a religion, says Galloway. Steve Jobs is the prophet. The Apple Store is a temple. Buying an iPhone is communion. Sounds extreme, but it's true. Apple sells identity. Owning an iPhone says something about you. It's not just a phone, it's a statement. And Apple's brand is the strongest in the world. Galloway says Apple is the most successful luxury brand in history. Like Hermes, but at scale. And the genius of Apple, they make luxury accessible. Anyone can afford an iPhone. But it makes you feel premium. That's the magic. Now, Apple's revenue. iPhone is about 60% of revenue. Services App Store, iCloud, growing fast. Mac, iPad, supporting. Wearables, Apple Watch, AirPods, growing. And the cash. Apple has more cash than most countries. Hundreds of billions of dollars. What do they do with it? Stock buybacks. Inflating their stock price. Returning value to shareholders. And not paying taxes properly. Apple is famous for tax avoidance. Routing through Ireland. Then through Bermuda. Reducing effective tax rate. EU has fined Apple multiple times. But Apple keeps doing it. Now, Apple's product strategy. They don't innovate first. They perfect what others started. MP3 player iPod, perfected. Smartphone iPhone, perfected. Tablet iPad, perfected. Smartwatch Apple Watch, perfected. And by perfecting, they dominate. Now, Steve Jobs is genius. He understood human psychology. He understood what makes people fall in love with products. And he applied that understanding ruthlessly. After Jobs, Tim Cook. Operations genius. Made Apple the most valuable company. But not as visionary. Now, what's interesting about Apple? They control the entire ecosystem. Hardware, software, services. All locked together. Once you're in the Apple ecosystem, hard to leave. Network effect plus switching cost. That's the moat. Now, the most provocative point Galloway makes. Apple sees itself as a religion. And believers are loyal forever. iPhone upgrades, religious ritual. WWDC, the annual gathering. Steve Jobs' keynote sermon. And the customers are evangelists, spreading the word for free. Brilliant marketing. Or terrifying, depending on perspective. Now, Chapter 4, Facebook. Chapter 4. Facebook actually meta now. Facebook's mission, connect the world. Beautiful. But the reality. Facebook profits from human attention. More you use it, more ads they show. And the algorithm shows you content that makes you angry, or scared, or jealous, because that engages you most. Engagement equals profit. And the cost, mental health crisis. Loneliness epidemic. Political polarization. Misinformation. All amplified by Facebook. Galloway says Facebook is the most dangerous company in history. Stronger than any government. Influencing 3 billion users daily. And accountable to no one. Now, the Cambridge Analytica scandal. Facebook data was used to manipulate elections. Brexit. Trump's 2016 election. Facebook denied responsibility. Then Mark Zuckerberg testified before Congress. Apologetic. But nothing changed. Facebook still operates the same way. Now, Facebook's strategy. By any competitor that emerges. Instagram, WhatsApp, Oculus. If you can't buy them, copy them. Facebook copied Snapchat features. Snapchat's growth crashed. TikTok, Facebook is trying to copy too. Reels are basically TikTok clones. Now, the most chilling fact about Facebook. They know you better than your spouse. After 100 likes, Facebook knows you better than friends. After 300 likes, better than spouse. Through these data, they can predict your behavior. And they sell that prediction to advertisers. You think you're choosing freely? Facebook nudged you here. You think you're forming opinions yourself? Facebook curated them. Free will is becoming an illusion. Now, Facebook's revenue. Almost all from advertising. About $100 billion per year. And growing. Now, the future Facebook envisions. The metaverse. VR world where you live a second life. Zuckerberg renamed the company Meta to focus on this. If successful, terrifying. Will be plugged in 24/7. All under Facebook's control. Now, Chapter 5, Google. Chapter 5. Google. The most powerful of all. Google knows everything. Every search is recorded. Every email read. Every YouTube video watched. Every step tracked via Android. Every photo backed up to Google Photos. Google has the most data of any company in history. And data is power. Now, Google's search engine. Monopoly status. 90% plus market share. Why? Because the algorithm is the best. Trained on the most data. Self-reinforcing. More users, more data, better algorithm, more users. Network effect. Now, Android open source operating system. Free for phone makers to use. But Google ties services to it. If you use Android, you use Google services. Search. Maps. Gmail. YouTube. All free, all ad-funded. All collecting data on you. Now, YouTube, the largest video platform. More than 2 billion users. Owned by Google since 2006. And recommendation algorithm. Designed to keep you watching. What does keep you watching? Outrage. Fear. Conspiracy. So YouTube radicalizes users. Pushing extreme content. Galloway points this out. Now, Google Maps. Every business depends on Google Maps. If you're not on Google Maps, you don't exist. And reviews on Google can make or break a business. Power. Now, the chilling reality. Google's ad business. About $200 billion per year. By tracking every move you make. Surveillance capitalism in its purest form. And Google says, don't be evil. But it has long since dropped that motto. Now, what does Galloway propose to do? Break up GAFA. Like Standard Oil was broken up. Like AT&T was broken up. Make GAFA face real competition. But this is politically difficult. Because GAFA has lobbying power. And consumers like the convenience. And there's no obvious replacement. Now, what can individuals do? Reduce dependence on GAFA. Use alternative search engines. Use alternative messaging. Don't put everything on cloud. Maintain digital independence. But almost nobody does this. Convenience wins over freedom. Now, Galloway's final point. You can either work for GAFA or work to compete with GAFA. Both are valid paths. But you can't ignore GAFA. They are the new economic gravity. Now I'd like to introduce some data from the book. GAFA stock is percentage of S&P 500. Just these four companies are about 15% of the entire S&P 500. That's how concentrated wealth has become. And GAFA captures most of internet ad revenue. Google plus Facebook equals 60% plus of digital ads. Duopoly. And Amazon is the third pillar. Now, the most interesting chart. GAFA market cap versus country's GDP. Apple alone is bigger than most countries. Google alone bigger than most. These four companies have the GDP of the world's third largest economy. Now, looking at this graph. Mass retail. Walmart and the disruption Amazon eating Walmart's lunch. Walmart is now fighting back. Building online stores. Buying jet.com. But it's hard to compete with Amazon. Walmart has stores. That's its advantage. But Amazon has data, AI, scale. Now, here's a Sam Walton story. Founder of Walmart. He was obsessive about cost. Drove an old pickup truck. Lived in a modest house. Despite being one of the richest men in America. Compared to Bezos, yacht, jet, mansions. Different generation, different values. Now, the wealth gap. GAFA founders are obscenely wealthy, while their workers struggle. Bezos has 100 billion plus. Average Amazon warehouse worker, 30,000 a year. The disparity is hundreds of thousands of times. Is this fair? Now, the Sam Walton wealth. Back in his day, even billionaires were modest. But today, billionaires want yachts, want private islands, want space rockets. Bezos has Blue Origin. Musk has SpaceX. What is the limit? Now, Galloway's question. Is this kind of capitalism sustainable? Or will there be a backlash? Politically. Maybe revolution. Or maybe AGI will change everything. Now, looking forward. AI is the next frontier. Every GAFA company is investing heavily in AI. Whoever wins AI wins everything. Maybe Microsoft. Maybe Google. Maybe a new player. But probably one of the existing GAFA plus Microsoft plus maybe Tesla. And then? Galloway says the future is concentrated. Wealth, power, talent, all concentrated. Most people will be left behind. Unless governments intervene. Now, what about Japan? Galloway doesn't talk much about Japan. But Japan has a similar story. Few large companies dominate. Toyota, Sony, SoftBank. Plus the trading houses, Mitsui, Mitsubishi. And consumer tech Amazon Japan dominates. Rakuten tries to compete. Yahoo Japan acquired by SoftBank. Line merged with Yahoo. Concentration in Japan too. Now, Galloway's prescriptions. In his book. First, antitrust. Break up GAFA. Second, fair taxation. Make GAFA pay their share. Third, privacy regulation. Stop surveillance capitalism. Fourth, labor protection. Workers should have rights. Fifth, education. Help people compete in the new economy. But all these require political will, which is in short supply. Now, let me share my view as Toshio Okada. I think GAFA is here to stay. Because we love them. I love Amazon. I love Google. I love iPhone. We can't go back. But we should be aware. We should know what we're trading for the convenience. Privacy. Data. Mental peace. Maybe some of those are worth trading. Maybe not. That's individual choice. Now, this video. I've been talking for a while. But the book is much deeper. I recommend you read it. Galloway's full title. Before, The Hidden DNA of Amazon, Apple, Facebook, and Google. Available in Japanese as GAFA, The Four Horsemen Who Reshaped the World. Worth reading. Now, before I close, some of you might be thinking, if GAFA is so dominant, what about the second-tier companies? Like Microsoft, Netflix, Tesla. Galloway predicts only one of them will join GAFA tier. Maybe Microsoft already has. Maybe Tesla soon. Maybe a new entrant from China. Like ByteDance with TikTok. Or Tencent with WeChat. Or Alibaba. China is creating its own GAFA. And the world might split into US tech versus China tech. Already happening. TikTok banned in some countries. Huawei banned in others. Tech Cold War. And in this war, individuals are pawns. Now, my conclusion. We live in the GAFA era. Whether we like it or not. Best to understand the rules of the game and play strategically. Either work with GAFA or build alternatives or accept and use the conveniences. Just don't be naive. GAFA is not your friend. GAFA is a business, optimizing for shareholder profit. And you are the product. Your data, your attention, your behavior, all monetized. Be aware. Be strategic. Be free. Now, since we're talking about this, let me also touch on Japan's response. Japan's antitrust authority, JFTC, has started investigating GAFA practices. But moves are slow. And Japan is heavily dependent on US tech. Hard to push back too hard. And the Japanese consumer market is small relative to global. GAFA doesn't care that much about Japan. So we have less leverage. Now, what about Japanese alternatives? Line for messaging popular in Japan, but owned by Yahoo Japan / SoftBank. Rakuten alternative to Amazon, but losing market share. Mercury peer-to-peer commerce, doing well in Japan. Yahoo Japan still dominant for search, but Google catching up. Japan has some local players, but global GAFA is winning. Now, an interesting prediction. In the next 10 years, the major battle will be in AI. Whoever owns the best AI wins. Currently, Google leads in research, but OpenAI / Microsoft challenged. Apple has Siri but lagging. Amazon has Alexa. Facebook is investing heavily. Outcome unclear. But AI will reshape everything, including how GAFA operates. Now, looking at the long term, 10 to 20 years. Will GAFA still dominate? History suggests no. Companies like IBM dominated for decades, then declined. Sears was once GAFA equivalent, then died. Will GAFA fall similarly? Maybe. But probably not for 20 plus years. Now, what's the next big disruption? Quantum computing, or AGI, or biotech, or fusion energy, or something we can't yet imagine. But it will come. And the next era will have new dominant players. Maybe some will be GAFA reborn. Maybe entirely new entities. We don't know. But we live in interesting times. Now, one more thought. Galloway warns that GAFA is creating massive inequality. Top 1% own 50% plus of wealth. Bottom 50% own less than 5%. And it's getting worse. GAFA contributes to this. Because automation replaces workers. Wealth flows up, not down. Trickle down doesn't work. What's the answer? Some say universal basic income. Tax GAFA. Fund UBI. Andrew Yang ran on this in 2020. Lost. But the idea persists. Other answers: wealth tax, inheritance tax, strong public services, universal healthcare, free education. These could redistribute, but politically difficult. Especially in America, where individualism dominates and taxes are demonized. Now, Japan has its own challenges. Aging population, stagnant wages, declining workforce. How does Japan compete in the GAFA era? By investing in unique strengths. Anime, games, manga, cultural exports, and robotics, material science. Not by trying to clone GAFA. Japan's Rakuten won't beat Amazon globally. But Sony, Nintendo, Toyota can compete on their terms. And cultural soft power. Anime is huge. Bigger than ever. Now, my favorite Galloway quote. Algorithms don't have hearts. GAFA optimizes ruthlessly. No empathy. If you're a worker being replaced, the algorithm doesn't care. If you're a creator being copied, the algorithm doesn't care. It just optimizes for engagement, profit, growth. And that's the cost. Now, GAFA's defenders say, they create value. They create jobs. They power innovation. Indirectly, they elevate the world. True, in some ways. But the negative externalities are also huge. Mental health, inequality, democracy erosion. Net positive or negative? Depends on perspective. Galloway says net negative for now. Without intervention, it gets worse. Now, this video has gone long. Let me wrap up. GAFA, Google, Amazon, Facebook, Apple. The four horsemen of modern times. Reshaping the world. And reshaping us. Whether for good or ill, historians will judge. But for now, we live with it. Best to understand it. Best to navigate it. Best not to be naive. Now, this is Galloway's book. I recommend you read it. Available in English and Japanese. And some final thoughts on the deeper implications. GAFA is not just companies. GAFA is a system of human attention capture, a system of data extraction, a system of behavioral manipulation. And the system is more powerful than any individual or government because it's distributed across users. We willingly participate. We click. We share. We post. And the system grows stronger. Self-reinforcing. And there's no exit. Even if you don't use GAFA, others use them about you. Your friends share photos. Your data flows. Your shadow profile exists. Surveillance is already complete. We just don't realize it. Now, Galloway's last warning. The next 10 years will determine whether democracies survive in the GAFA era. Will they regulate effectively? Or will GAFA continue to grow unchecked? Will we have a real public sphere? Or just GAFA-controlled media? Will elections be fair? Or manipulated by algorithms? These are existential questions for democracy. And no easy answers. Now, my final message. Use GAFA wisely. Don't let it use you. Be intentional with your attention. Be skeptical of recommendations. Be aware of manipulation. And value the things GAFA can't give you. Real human connection. Deep thinking. Creativity not optimized for clicks. Genuine experiences. These are increasingly rare. And increasingly valuable. Now, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. And let me know in the comments. What's your relationship with GAFA? Are you a heavy user? A skeptic? Both? I'd love to hear. And next time, I'll talk about something different. Maybe AI. Maybe a movie. Maybe a new book. We'll see. Now, one more topic before